Okay, so we can start. So in today's lesson, we're going to have an introduction to polynomials. So we're going to look at what a polynomial is, the basics to know, and also do some synthetic division and also long division. So these are very important for the things which are ahead. So to start, what is a polynomial function? So we just have to define it in simple terms. So if we have a function of f of x, a polynomial function is just any function that has 3x variables or more. So like in such a case, you can see we have 3x's. So this is a polynomial. For a quadratic, you know it is power 2. Maybe we have something like this. This is a quadratic, meaning we just have 2x's. But for a polynomial, we can have power 4, we can have power 5. Yeah, so now that's the basic definition of a polynomial. It is just a function with variables more than 3. And then what you are seeing here, this is just the formal definition. So a polynomial function, it is given by f of x is equal to that. So we'll look at this definition in things ahead. So but just to explain what you should know here, this a, the a which you are seeing, it is just called the coefficient. Yeah, so this is the first coefficient, this is the second coefficient. Yeah, just like that. And then the whole lot of this, we have a n x power n. The whole lot of this, it is called the first term. That's the first term of the polynomial. And then this is the last term. Yeah. So in case there are questions already just here, you can always feel free to ask. Yeah. So now we're going to discuss long division and synthetic division. So before we go to calculating, there are few things we can talk about. So under long division, so this one, it is coming from grade 1 work. Now you remember, if you have been told to divide, let's say 19 divided by 2, it simply means you have 9 over 2. And in grade 1, you used to learn, here you put 2, in there you put 19. So 2 into 19, it's how many times? So 19 divided by 2 is going to give us 9. And then you say 9 times 2, you get your 18. So 19 minus 18, that's a 1. Yeah, so what this means, it means when you divide 2 into 19, what you get, it is 9. Remainder 1. Yeah, so if you want, you can count, you count all the way up to 19, you divide 2, you get 9, remainder 1. Yeah, so this here, it is the remainder. That one, it is the answer. So the answer, we call it the quotient. So the answer is called the quotient. And then this number which we are dividing into, which was being, the one which we are dividing into the other one, this is called the divisor. This is our divisor. Yeah, and then this one, 19, it was being divided, so we call it the dividend. Okay, so that just makes up our introduction. So in case my screen stops showing, it can just be network. Yeah, so but you can also check out the lesson that will be recorded. Yeah, so that is how we operate with long division. So the same concept now, we're going to apply it to mathematics of our level. So we're going to start with this first one, x power 3 blah blah blah. Okay, so just a minute, my network is erratic. For those who've just joined us, we are introducing polynomials. So we have talked about the standard definition. So just know that a polynomial is just a function which has a lot of variables. Yeah, and then now we're looking at long division. Now this is when we're starting. So we're starting with this example here. So we have we want to divide x power 3. So this is power 3 minus 2x squared plus 4 and then minus 3. Okay, so it is being divided by x minus 3. So remember I said what we have here is called the divisor, and then this it is our dividend, and then the answers which we'll be getting on top, those are the quotient. Okay, so now we start dividing. So what you do, you just say the first variable, you divide it with the variable which is under the which is in the dividend. We divide this by this. Yeah, so we're going to go through step by step. So let us start. We say x power 3 divided by x, it will be x squared. So here what it simply means x power 3 over x, meaning we're going to cancel x and x cancels and we'll remain with x squared. Okay, so x power 3 divided by x, it is x squared, and then we multiply. We're going to multiply this by everything there. So what is x squared times x? It is x power 3, and then we have a minus. What is x squared times 3? It is 3, and we have x squared. So if there are questions at this point, you can ask. Seems like we're okay. Okay, so after multiplying, we just subtract. So x power 3 minus x power 3, that is 0. So we can ignore the 0. And then we come here, negative 2 minus 3. This is negative 2 minus negative 3. So you have to be smart, you don't make mistakes. So negative and negative, it is positive. So negative 2 minus negative 3 is positive 1. So here we have 1. And then the x will follow just like that. I'm trying to explain it very slow. I hope I'm not losing anyone. So in case you don't get to be clear, you can always let me know. Okay, so now what we have just done, we said negative 2x minus negative 3x, it is 1x. So and then you know we don't write 1x, so you just put x. Yeah. And then from here we have to drop down what we have there. So we'll bring down 4. So we bring down this 4x. So we have plus 4x. So again the process will repeat. We're going to divide x into the variable which is in front here. The answer which we get, we multiply. Yeah, it will be just this circle. You divide, you multiply. Yeah, so let's do it together. So we have a lot of examples. just stick around and it will be pretty easy. So x squared divided by x, it is x squared divided by x, it is x. So here don't get confused. X squared divided by x, it simply means this is going to cancel, meaning we just remain with 1x. No wonder I've written 1x there on top. Okay, so this is the x which we have here. And then remember what we said, after finding the value on top, it's going to multiply with the things which are down. So what is x times x? It will be x power 2. And then x times negative 3, it is negative 3x. So Peggy, you are welcome. You catch up with us on the next example. So let's quickly finish this. X squared minus x squared, it is 0. So we can ignore the 0. And then 4x minus 3x. So here you would make a mistake where you say 1x. So I remember when I was solving mathematics very fast, I used to make such mistakes. 4 minus negative 3, you say 1. So you just have to be careful here. We have 4 minus, you can see the minus here. So 4 minus negative 3. You have seen we have two negatives, meaning this will be 4 plus 3. Okay, so 4 plus 3, it is 7. So meaning that's what we have here. So this is 7x. Okay, so just be careful when you are working it out. And then we're going to drop down our 3. So we're going to say minus 3. So after dropping down, again we just divide x into what is here in front. So what is 7x divided by x? I think I've showed you how you can always understand. 7x divided by x, meaning this will cancel with that. We just remain with 7. So x, when you divide it by 7x, or 7x when you divide it by x, you remain with 7, because x will just cancel. Yeah, so we have 7 there. And then the process repeats. We multiply. What is 7 times 3? 7 times 3, it is 7x. Minus 7 times x is 7x. And then 7 times negative 3, it is negative 21. And then from here we subtract 7x minus 7x, it is 0. And then 3 minus 21, it is positive 18. Positive 18 there. So this 0, we can just ignore. Yeah, so if there are questions, you can ask at this point. I'm not sure. You can find that people can't even hear you. So, but if you're able to hear me, try to react so that at least I get a signal that you can get me. Okay, so I'm audible. So at this point we're good. So remember what I said, the values which we have on top here, they are called the quotient. Oh yeah, this is the quotient, meaning the answer. And then what we have here, this is the divisor. And then what is down here, it is called the dividend. So now let us write our final answer. So our final answer, we're going to say, therefore, when you divide I don't like writing words. Okay, yeah, so but for this example, I'm just going to demonstrate. So you are going to conclude, therefore, when you divide x power 3 minus 2x squared plus 4x minus 3, when you divide this, remember we're dividing by x divided by 3. So this was our question. Divide this by x minus 3. That was the question. So we're just trying to conclude, when we divide, the answer which we get, it is that one on top. The final answer is x squared plus x plus 7. And then we have a remainder 18. So 18 is our remainder. And then we can say over the divisor. Our divisor was x minus 3. So this is how you write your final answer. And then there's also another way. You can simplify this further. So we're going to look at another question where they'll say how to leave the final answer. So we can also simplify this further, whereby we cross multiply. So the final answer can also be written like this. You say x minus 3, this one, it multiplies with that, plus x plus 7. So we've just cross multiplied, and then we say plus 18, which was our remainder. So now let's look at some more examples so that we understand everything perfectly. Yeah, so otherwise, whenever you get to have questions, you can always let me know. Feel free, you won't be disturbing. So we're going to go now to question 2. Okay, so sorry, come again. You are saying how to find the coefficients.
Yeah, on how to find the coefficient now, so how to multiply that number that you given with those instance and how to find the coefficient.
Okay. Okay, so she was asking how to find the values which are here on top. Yeah, so like I said, Peggy, you are going to follow us through on the next example so that you get the whole thing perfectly. But just to answer your question, how we find the values which are on top here. In simpler terms, what we do, let's say here we have x minus 2. And then in here, let's say we have x power 3 minus x squared. Maybe let's say 5. So now what happens is, you are going to divide x into x power 3. Yeah, so maybe your question is now, how do we divide? So how we divide x power 3 divided by x? You just say x power 3 over x, and then we're going to cancel. So x into x is 1, and then here when we cancel 1x, meaning we remain with x power 2. So meaning x into x power 3, it is x squared. Yeah, so that's the simplest way of doing it. You just make it in form of a fraction. Okay. So we're going to quickly proceed now. We have a lot of examples ahead, so don't worry. So now let's do this one. We have this expression. We want to divide it by x plus 2. So what you do, you just write your base, you write it nicely, and then we write x plus 2. Yeah, and then now we have to write what is here. So there's something I didn't Ruth is saying something in the group. Okay. So maybe network challenges. So I was saying here I didn't explain something like on the arrangement. So this is one of the ways in which lecturers would kind of trick students if you are not careful. So you always have to rearrange the equation. Start from the highest power going down. Okay, so the highest power, it is x power 4. That is the highest power. So you write x power 4, and then the one which follows it, it is power 2. So we have negative 5x power 2. So here you have to be smart. You don't just write 5x squared like that, because it can lead to a wrong answer. So after power 4, you know what comes next. After power 4, we should have a power 3. So meaning we're just going to put 0 x power 3. So this doesn't change anything. We've just put a 0 so that things are in order. Yeah, so in the original question, we do not have a power 3. So we just have to write 0x power 3. And then we now come to what is having power 2. So 5x is having power 2. And then what is having power 1? Yeah, so this is minus. So what is having power 1? It is 8. So minus 8 minus 8. So minus 8x. So if there's no power, meaning power 1 there. And then we also have the constant, which is 3. We have 3 here. And then now we're going to start dividing. So we're going to say 4x power 4. Oh, okay. So our friend's battery is low. She's going to join us later. So x power 4, we divide it by x. So Peggy, pay attention here. So this is where you are asking, how do we find the values on top? Yeah, so x power 4, this we're going to divide it by x. So how we divide, you can just simply know the answer will be power 3. Yeah, so from 4, we're going to have power 3. So, but if you want to understand how that is the case, we have x power 4, you divide it by x. Okay. So, x power 4, you divide it by x, meaning this will cancel with that, will remain with x power 3. Yeah, so, and that's how we find the values on top. The values on top are found by dividing. And then what is next is we multiply with what is here. So now we're going to say what is x power 3 times x. It is x power 4. We simply say 3 plus 1, it is 4. Okay, so x power 3 times x, it is x power 4, plus x power 3 times 2, it is 2x power 3. Yeah, so this is just x and 2, meaning they combine. And then we can subtract. X power 4 minus x power 4, it is 0. We can ignore the 0. And then we say 0 minus 2. What is 0 minus 2? It is negative 2. And then don't forget x power 3. And then from here, we subtracted. After subtracting, we're going to drop down the next term, this term here. So we're going to drop down minus 5x squared. So at this point, after dropping it down, again we're now going to start dividing x into this. The answer we get, we put it on top. Yeah, you just repeat the same procedure. X, divide it into this, the answer will be on top. And then what's on top will multiply later. So what is negative 2x power 3 divided by x? So for you to make sure that you are correct, you can just write it like on a rough paper. 2x power 3, you divide it by x. Now we're going to have, so x will cancel with this x, meaning we'll remain with negative 2x. Since here we're the power 3, meaning it will be a power 2. So meaning on top we have negative 2x power 2. So if you are not clear up to this point, or if you would want me to repeat, you can just let me know. So seems like we can proceed. So we know how we found negative 2x. We just enter it into this one. So after finding the value on top, let us now multiply it with the same things which are down. So what is negative 2x times negative 2x? It will just be negative 2x. So here we have a power 2. 2 plus 1, 3. Minus negative 2 times positive 2. It is negative 4. 2 times 2, it is 4. Yeah. And then we have x squared. So I'm trying to explain this as slow as possible, but in case I get too fast, you can give me a signal. So from here now we subtract. So negative 2 minus negative 2, this will be 0. So we can ignore the 0. And then here, you always have to be careful, because you can just say negative 5 minus 4. Maybe even start thinking of negative 9. So here, be careful. We have negative 5 minus negative 4. Meaning we have negative 5. So negative and negative, it's positive. So positive 4. So what is negative 5 plus 4? It is negative 1. So I have negative 1x. So x is having a power 2. So we've subtracted. And then after subtraction, we can bring down the next term. Now we're going to bring down 8. Now which is a negative. So from here, when you bring down 8, again we start this. We're going to divide it into that one. So we're going to say what is negative x squared. So the 1x, you know it is just x. So what is negative x squared divided by x? Here when you cancel, x will go away. Will remain with negative x. From x power 2, will just remain with 1x. So meaning when you divide here, you divide this one into that one there. You just remain with negative x. So I've tried to show you the steps. So I just hope you are writing down. Ensure you understand this. So here we're going to have negative x. And then from here now, always remember, it is like a clock. We now multiply. From multiplying, it will come down from here just like that. So we're going to say negative x will multiply everything there. So negative x times positive x, it will be negative x squared. So x and x, it is x squared. And then this is a negative, and there we have a plus, meaning the final answer is just negative. And then what is negative x times positive 2? It is negative 2 and x. And then from here, we say minus. So what is negative x squared minus negative x squared? So here it simply means we have negative 1 minus negative 1, which is negative 1 plus 1. Yeah, so this is just 1 minus 1. So one of the things which makes this thing hard, maybe it can be the signs. So ensure you practice more. So here this is a 0, we can ignore the 0. And then we say negative 8 minus negative 2. This is negative 8 plus 2. So negative 8 plus 2, it is 6. So these are v and x, so meaning 6x. Okay, so you just keep on going down until you no longer have x. So after writing, so this is negative 6x. So after writing this part, we divide that variable, we divide it here. So what is negative 6 divided by x? So we're saying what is negative 6x when we divide it by x? It simply means x and x will cancel like that. We just remain with negative 6. So meaning on top there, our answer is negative 6. Yeah, and then we just multiply negative 6 times x. Oh, I forgot to drop down this. So sometimes you might want to ask, like, why are we dropping? So in case you forget to drop, you'll still be reminded later on. Yeah, so in fact, let's just continue solving. You'll see that, okay, we're supposed to drop. So I say negative 6 should multiply with the things there. So what is negative 6 times x? It is negative 6x minus 6 times 2. It is 12. So here you can see already that something is missing. At this point, something is missing. So we forgot to drop down 3. So the reason we drop down these numbers is so that we can balance. So 3 was supposed to come down so that at least 12 also has something. So we subtract. So negative 6 minus negative 6, it is 0. And then 3 minus negative 12, it is 15. Yeah, so here, just ensure you are careful. 3 minus negative 12. This simply means 3 plus 12. Yeah, so 3 plus 12, it's 15. So at this point now, we do not have an x. So we cannot divide this x into 15. Yeah, so that is this is our reminder. So, and then you can even conclude, you say your final answer is that part in blue on top. The final answer is x power 3 minus 2x squared minus x minus 6. Yeah, this is the answer. And then you say remainder, and then Mr. Chidwin, you can okay, so just a minute, I remove this one. Okay, I was muting our colleague who has joined. So remember to mute your mic so that I don't remove you. So our final answer is this one. And then you just say plus the remainder. The remainder is 15. So for those who've joined us, you'll catch up on the next example, and you should watch the video. So 15 over x plus 2, what we're dividing with. So this is how you get to solve the polynomials using long division. Yeah, so what is next now? It is a tough example. So for those who've joined, yeah, so you still understand, but we're about to look at a very interesting example, and then we can go to synthetic division. Yeah, so and then don't worry, this will be a recorded lesson. So now the next example, we're going to divide this x power 3 plus y power 3. We divide it by x squared plus y squared. So these are frequent exam questions. That's how they can ask, whereby they don't give you much numbers. So we have this. Okay, so the question is, we divide x power 3 plus y power 3. We divide this by x squared plus y squared. So you just follow the same principles. So the divisor, we write it here, x squared plus y squared. And then the dividend, we're going to write it in here, x power 3. And then remember what I said earlier, after power 3, what should follow should be x with a power 2. But in the question we just have this. We do not have x with a power 2, meaning we just have to put for ourselves. We're going to write 0 x power 2. So the reason we've put 0 so that it doesn't change the meaning. And then we say plus. After power 2, there should be something with power 1. So we say 0 power 1. So power 1, we don't show it. Yeah, so after dealing with the x's, and then we can put whatever is remaining, y power 3. So if there are questions, you can unmute and then you ask. Okay, so it seems like there are no questions. So we start following the same procedure. So here I'll try to be a bit fast, so that at least we also look at a number of examples under synthetic. So we're going to divide x power 2 divided by x power 3. So I want to get a response from someone. So someone to help me with the answer. What is x power 3 divided by x power 2?
The answer is x.
Alright, so that's perfect. So the more you practice, the more you never forget. So the answer is just x. So how she did it, she just said x power 3 over x power 2. So when you cancel, here you have 2 x's, they cancel with 3 x's, you just remain with 1 x. So that is the x which is on top. Yeah. And then from here next now, we're going to say x is going to multiply the things which are there. So what is x power? times x squared, it is just x power 3. And then what is x times y squared? So here we're going to say y squared x. So maybe let me just try to explain something so that I'm sure that you've followed. So we have x on top and then we have a y here. So what is happening, it is just like, what if we had x squared minus 3? We're going to say x times x, and then x times 3, you just say 3x. You see, so in this case we have a y. So x times y, let us say yx, meaning y is just a coefficient. Yeah, so here y has a square. So x times y squared, we say y squared x. So from here we subtract. So x power 3 minus x power 3, it is 0. We can ignore the 0. And then 0 minus yx squared, it is just the same thing, yx. And then don't forget the power, which is on y. Okay, and then after subtracting, we can drop down this. The reason we're dropping it down is so that we balance. So 0x. So again, we start dividing. Will this be divisible? Oh, okay. I'm feeling like I'm missing something, so let me just oh, okay. So I was just seeing that the question is going to take us somewhere far. So I made a mistake when writing the question. So this one is supposed to be x power 3 and y power 3. So we're dividing this by x plus y. Yeah, not squares. We just divide by x plus y. Yeah, so but even in this same manner, it's just that during division, it won't make sense. Because here now we have to divide this. We divide it into that. So we're going to say y squared over x squared. So this will not make much sense. So let us just start over very quickly, and then that's when we'll proceed. Okay, so the mistake was just here on the powers, but you'll still be able to follow it through. So we're going to say we divide this by x plus y. Yeah, not having powers, just x plus y. So let us go through it quickly. X power 3 divided by x, it means x power 3 divided by x, it is x squared. You know it will cancel. So this is x squared. And then what's next is to multiply. X squared times x, it is x power 3. Yeah, so x squared times x power 3 plus x squared times y. You know it is just y. You write y and then x squared. So if you get to be confused, of which I know you've understood, but you can always participate. So here we've just multiplied, and then let us now subtract. X squared minus x squared, it is 0. And then 0 minus yx, it is just yx. And then we have a squared. And then from here, we drop down our 0. So this will be 0x. And then from this point now, we're now going to divide. So remember, we divide just the first term. Don't mind why. So you just divide x into this. And then how to divide, I've shown you. You just say yx, you say over x. So here things will cancel. X will cancel with 1x, meaning we'll remain with this. So we say plus yx. That's what we get on top. And then next, we know after finding the quotient, we multiply yx times x. It is yx squared. Yeah, so this x has just multiplied with another x, meaning we have x squared, plus yx times y. Yx times y, it is y squared x. Okay, yeah. So I hope you have followed. So from here, and then we subtract. These are like terms, you know, they will cancel. And then 0 will not change anything. So 0 minus yx squared, it is just negative y squared x. Okay. So I hope I haven't been too fast. So for those who are watching the recorded lesson, you can screenshot and then you inbox me if you are not clear somewhere. Okay, so at this point we drop down this variable. So let us drop it. Okay, so just a minute. Okay, so when we drop it, this will be y power 3. So now let us divide for the last time. X, so remember we keep on dividing until we no longer have x. So x will go into this. And how you do that, you just say, okay, we have y squared x over x. So when you cancel x, you cancel x as well, meaning you just remain with y squared. You see that part. Okay, yeah, so when we cancel, so x into xy squared, it is just y squared. Y squared like that. And then this y squared is going to multiply with the two things which are here. Okay, so y squared times x, it is y squared times x. We're going to have y squared x. And then what is y squared times y? This will be y cubed. Okay, so I hope I haven't done wrong things. Okay, yeah, so this is the procedure. So from here, you subtract. So when you subtract these like terms, I'm trying to, okay, yeah, so maybe we might have made a mistake somewhere, but when you go through again, that one is a plus. So when you subtract these two are like terms, it is just 0. And then when you also subtract y power 3 minus y power 3, this is 0. So meaning your final answer, it is that one which is on top there. And then you conclude, you say when you divide y power 3 plus, so it was like this. So you conclude, you say x power 3 plus y power 3. When you divide this, when you divide it by x plus y, what you are going to get is that part in blue. Okay, so just ensure you go through the work over and over, ensuring that you understand what's happening. So are there questions at this point? Okay, so seems like there are no questions. Yeah, although on this part, I don't know, we might have solved it so fast, but in the document which I plan to make, we're going to go through examples, and this one will be resolved again. Yeah, so that was on long division. Yeah, we've looked at a number of things under long division. So now, let us see what we can discuss under synthetic. So synthetic division, it's very simple. It is the one which we'll be using later on when we look at the remainder theorem and the factor theorem. Yeah, so for the synthetic division, what we do, you just write something like this. Yeah, for other textbooks, you can find something like that. So just depends with which one would be easier. So what we do is, for the synthetic division, yeah, so this one is simple. We're going to finish it in less than 10 minutes. So for the synthetic division, we simply say we have a factor. So x minus c is equal to 0. So this is our x minus c. This is our x minus c. So what we do is we make x the subject of the formula. Okay. So meaning here we have x minus 3. X minus 3, we say it is equal to 0. And then we make it the subject of the formula. So we're going to have x is equal to 3. So this 3, it is the one which we put there. We have a positive 3. And then for these which we are now dividing, for these values, we're going to say, we could have written x squared minus 2x, but we do not have to be writing again x. For the synthetic division, we just put the coefficients. Yeah, so what I mean is this. So we have 4x and we have minus 3. So under the synthetic division, we're going to just say, instead of writing x, here we just put 1. Okay, so here we'll just put 1. And then here, instead of writing negative 2x, we just put negative 2. While there's positive 4x, we just put 4. Yeah, this is what I mean. We just write the coefficients. Okay, so let us write the coefficients. So the first coefficient is 1. The next one is negative 2. The next one is positive 4. So you can just write 4. The next one is 4. And the next one is negative 3. So and then from here, always know that the first number drops. It drops the way it is. So you put 1. And then what will be happening is, coming down we multiply, and then inside we add. Yeah, so this is like a mnemonic which you can think of. Down you multiply, inside you add. So down, let us multiply. 3 times 1, it is 3. It is 3. And then remember, inside we add. So 3 plus negative 2, it is just 1. This is just 1. So if we say 3 plus negative 2, it is just like 3 minus 2. So it is 1. Again, down we multiply. So 3 times 1, it is 3. And then now inside here we add. What is 4 plus 3? It is 7. And then we have come down to 7. 3 times 7, it is 21. We have 21. And then here we add 21 plus negative 3. It is just 21 minus 3. It is 18. This is 18. Okay, and then at this point, you can see here the highest power is power 3. This is our highest power. So meaning this is our final answer. So for the final answer, the power will reduce by 1. So meaning we're going to say, you can see this is 1x. So instead of putting a power 3, we're going to put a power 2. And then we say plus, this is 1x. Okay, so again my network has performed. Okay, so the network has gone down, and the lesson is about to end. Okay, so let's quickly go through it. Okay, so before network was disturbed, I was saying here, so these they simply have x. Yeah, so this is having power 2, and then this one is having power 1 plus 7. So the next one should have no power, meaning 7 should be just like that. Okay, so this is the final answer. So you can see that if we write 1x, it doesn't make sense. So meaning we just write x. So this is the final answer. X squared plus x plus 7, and then remainder is 18. So 18 over x minus 3. X minus 3 was our factor, this factor here. Okay, so here we can put a plus. So this was our introductory lesson. I didn't want it to go way too long. Yeah, so but this is where we'll end with the lesson. So now in the next video, we're now going to look at least more examples, and then in our next lesson we'll look at the remainder theorem and the factor theorem. Yeah, so we're going to look at these examples later. We'll solve each one of these. Yeah, so we'll end here. For those who might not have subscribed to the channel, you can subscribe so that you are aware when the video is out. So we'll end here. See you in the next lesson.